Hey guys, and we are taking on Stung Chameleon today, the final Maverick. His stage is a relatively short one, except for one jerk of a mini-boss who takes forever to kill. There's an odd resemblance, at least here in the beginning, to Woodman's level, and it is flooded because we beat Launch Octopus. It being flooded allows us to get to a heart container that we couldn't get to otherwise. It just makes the stage all around more interesting. It would be kind of a bland stage without the water, I think. So dropping down here, we can use our dash boots to break each one of these rocks individually, because we will not leave one rock unbroken. And then, I mean it now, we're not leaving any of these rocks. With the water, you can make that dash. Now that sound you hear up there is a horror that we will not have to deal with. This cave up here, I tried to get some of these on screen, but couldn't. There are a bunch of stones that normally fall, and according to somebody in the comments, you can actually break them with your helmet, so there's another use for it. And now, as a prize for finding a dead-end corner, you get a mini-boss. Now, I've never quite known how to deal with this mini-boss. I don't know how many times I've fought him, but essentially what I always end up doing is just going through all my weapons. That's the charged-up homing torpedo, by the way. And, you know, just kind of seeing what they do. I don't know why I take this strategy, but it's kind of fun. Now, he bears apparently some slight resemblance to Otto from Mega Man 7 through 10. By the way, that vertical storm tornado does not work, as does not the charged electric spark here. But anyway, like I said, bears some resemblance to Otto. There are fan theories that he's like an upgraded Otto. Don't really know where those come from. Although one interesting thing to note is that his name is, I think, RT337. I don't remember the numbers, but it is RT. And his Japanese name was Raitot. So, there's that. The only other thing really lending credence to this theory is that he's guarding the final Dr. Light capsule. So, you know, however you want to go. For whatever reason, I seem to think shotgun ice works well on this guy, because that's always what I'm using when you start smoking like that, because I've gone through all the other weapons by then. Here I'm trying to get him to use his only other real attack, which is grabbing a wall, and then he'll pull himself towards it, but he was too close there. And so by this point I've really given up. All you gotta do is dodge his claw and slide under his jumps. It's that simple. I'm sure he would be a lot easier if I weren't so insistent on trying all the different weapons. Yeah, oh well. He's stuck in a loop here, which is nice. And now, whoa, caps out of nowhere. And now we get the final message. A new body armor that I guess Dr. Light made after he built X. There are other theories on that too. I'm gonna have to have like a whole video dedicated to this stuff one day. But as you can see, it cuts our damage in half, which is a great addition. Would have been nice if we'd had it earlier, but that's kind of one of the downsides of going this route. For some reason, if you run straight left after you get the upgrade, the screen won't scroll. You have to dash back and then go. See, I think I'm actually going to dedicate half of the next video to the background story that the game assumes you know, but you probably don't, because I think it might help for some reason, might add to the fun of the talkthrough. Especially when you consider that normally what we're dealing with is this stuff. We rock, guys. And I think that is life number 9, which is nice. Really, this middle part of the stage you can pretty much just dash straight through without any problems. Those birds won't bug you. And now we get to the muddy forest part where we get our robot ride armor. Now of course, it's so heavy that it sinks into the mud. Oh goodness. So you have to make sure that you jump while you're running through here. And if you're wondering what happens if you get to the bottom of the mud puddle, oh no! Absolutely nothing happens. So, moving on. I don't know if I said this explicitly earlier, but you can jump out of your armor mid-jump by jumping again and holding it up. Nice to know. And this guy up ahead, there's another robot ride armor. And if you were out of yours, he would be out of his as well, so you could get a little sneak attack on him. And be able to use his robot ride armor for the next enemy. And now we get to Stung Chameleon, whose weakness is the boomerang cutter, which, as I've said before, is really an unreliable weapon. Because it's so unreliable, there are really two efficient ways to do this. And by the way, that sound effect was not like the original one in the Super Nintendo, and it really, really bothers me because it sounds like he's like laughing or something now. Whereas on the Super Nintendo, it sounds more like, I don't know, it just sounds more natural, like it belongs there, as opposed to this. So I apologize for whatever's causing this. Now, like I said, there are really only two ways that you can make the boomerang cutter reliable. One is to hit him point blank with it, like so. Because then there's no room for arcing arrow. The other is to use the charged up version like that, because it pretty much hits everything on screen, and so there's nothing to worry about. I tend to prefer trying to hit him point blank. But if you still miss, what you kind of want to do is, because the boomerang cutter will always come back to you unless it hits something, you want to maneuver yourself in such a way that its path will cut through Stung Chameleon, and everything works nicely. In fact, the boomerang cutter has some interesting effects on other bosses as well, and we'll explore those in the inevitable boss rematches coming up in a couple of videos. But for now, we will take out Stung Chameleon in a very cruel way. I don't want to have my tongue cut out like that. And that is the final Maverick. For defeating Stung Chameleon, we get his Chameleon Sting. Not really a noteworthy weapon at all. You'll see kind of what it does. Makes him a nifty color, I'll give you that, but in 3 directions charged up, it makes you invincible, which can be pretty useful on the next level. And now we get a cutscene. Conveniently, we just found Sigma's fortress, which they don't show it here, but it turns out it's actually floating. And war against the humans? What? Where did that come from? I don't know. We'll explore that later. And now, oh crap, music.